Hey guys, this is Lana from independentlyhappykids.com, and I'm totally in my car right now. So I'm in my car because my kids are in gymnastics right now, and so I'm making the most of every opportunity. Since they're not around me, I'm taking this time to shoot my video, which is really the only opportunity I have today to shoot this video. So bear with me here while I sit in my car. I found these worksheets in a curriculum book that I wanted to kind of test out on my kids yesterday. And if you see here, they are, well, hang on, bear with me. They are cause and effect relationships. And on this worksheet, it just says put a check mark by what you think will happen next. And then it gives a little scenario, and then there's two answers. In this book that I found this out of, in the back where the answers are, which of course as adults we don't even need the answer key. I mean, most people would read this and go, oh well, it's obvious. But that's really why I want to discuss this, because I think this is really the problem with our society. If you look in the back of the book, there are correct answers to each one of these. Obviously, for number 1, the baby is hungry. The correct answer would be the baby is given dinner. For number 2, the family dog is lost. The correct answer would be the family looks for it. Number 3, it begins to rain at the picnic. The correct answer would be the family packs up and leaves. Number 4, the car has a flat tire. The correct answer would be the tire is fixed. And number 5, Bill's shirt is torn. The correct answer is Bill puts on a new shirt. Well, my son answered the first one correctly, according to the answer key at the back. He answered the first one correctly. He answered the second one correctly. He answered the third one correctly and the fourth one correctly. But the fifth one he did not get correct. Now, on my daughter's, she got the first one correct, the second one correct, the third one incorrect, the fourth one incorrect, and the fifth one correct. When I gave them this worksheet, I told them there was no right or wrong answer. To answer it how they felt they needed to answer it. And I was doing this for a reason, because I wanted to test this out. This kind of goes back to the whole idea of divergent thinking, of being able to think critically about something. And it's sad that things like this are in these curriculum books, because if a teacher at school were to give this to a child, or let's say they were to give it to my children in school, my children would not have gotten them all correctly. They would have gotten some of them wrong. But my children are not wrong. They're really not wrong answers. The problem we have is that we are teaching children by exercises like this, by worksheets like this, and lessons like this, how to not think critically. We're basically teaching them to make assumptions. And sometimes assumptions are good to make, but for the most part, at least what I've found in my life, is that when you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and me. That's what I was always taught. That's what it means when you assume. You don't assume. You have to think critically. After they did this exercise, after they did this worksheet, I asked them to explain to me why they got the answers they got, why they chose the answers they chose. I thought this was the most interesting one. It begins to rain. You see the third one. It begins to rain at the picnic. The family eats, or the family packs up and leaves. My daughter said the family eats. My son said the family packs up and leaves. So I asked them both why they said that. Well, my son said that if it started raining at a picnic, that he wouldn't want to stay and eat. He would just want to go on home. Okay, that was actually the correct answer. But I asked my daughter why she would say the family eats. She said, well, if we were to go to a picnic, first of all, we wouldn't go to a picnic if we knew it was going to rain. That makes sense, right? Then she said, and if it did rain, why would we just pack up and go home and forget about all of our plans? Why wouldn't we make the best of the situation and find a pavilion and just go under a pavilion and eat? Why would we just pack up and go home? She said, our family doesn't do that. If something happens that is unexpected, we just make the best of it, which is usually what we do. And that's what we teach our kids, to make the best of a situation. You don't just blow the whole thing off because something unexpected happens. So she was thinking very critically of the situation. So that's why she said the family eats. Why would the family just go home? You could still eat. You just find a place that is covered and you eat. But that would have been the wrong answer according to this book. So the car has a flat tire. Well, the tire is fixed or the car is sold. My daughter said the car is sold. My son said the tire is fixed. Logically, he was thinking, well, if the tire is flat, you just fix the tire. Because he was thinking just a car. Like a car that you use all the time, you get a flat on the road, well, you fix the tire. You don't just sell your car because you got a flat tire. My daughter, on the other hand, was thinking, her thinking was, you can still sell a car if it has a flat tire. So, do you see what I'm getting at? And then the last one, Bill's shirt is torn. Bill puts on a new shirt, or Bill wears the torn shirt. My daughter said Bill puts on a new shirt. She said the reason she chose that one is because if she had a torn shirt, she would want to put on a new shirt. And my son, Bill wears the torn shirt, is what he chose. And I asked him why he chose that. And he said, well, because if I'm just playing and I tear my shirt, I'm not going to go change my shirt. I'm just going to wear a torn shirt because I'm playing. Why would I put on a new shirt just to play? Or maybe I already knew the shirt was torn and I put it on because I'm just playing. And then, of course, once my son said that, my daughter, she kind of changed her tone on the whole thing. And she said, well, if I was out and I accidentally torn my shirt while I was out, then I wouldn't go all the way back home and put on a new shirt. I would just wear the torn shirt. So the whole reason for me doing this and even shooting this video about this is because I think it's really interesting what we're conditioning children to do. We're conditioning children to make general assumptions about certain scenarios. And I really don't think that's good. I really don't. I think that it's not good to make assumptions when we don't know the whole story. In fact, we've got a real problem with people that judge books by their covers. We have a real problem with people judging other people and making bad choices in life because they do make general assumptions without knowing all the details of the situation. They don't think critically. They don't look into it deeply. They don't think far ahead. They're not really looking past the end of their nose. So, but yet, these are the kind of things that we're conditioning our children to do. These are the kind of things that we are conditioned to do. I mean, as an adult, when I read through this for the first time, I knew what the answers were. The baby's given dinner. The family looks for the dog. The family packs up and leaves. The tire's fixed. Bill puts on a new shirt. I knew that. But I'm a critical enough thinker that I thought, this is kind of lame. Why couldn't the other answers be right? I mean, Bill's shirt is torn. That's not enough information for me to be able to answer that truthfully. It's not. I mean, there's more to it than Bill's shirt is torn. Okay, where was Bill? Did he already know that the shirt was torn when he put it on? I mean, these are all things to consider, and yet we are not raising children to think like that. We're not. We're raising them to think very shallow, to make assumptions, and to just get the answer. Get the answer. What's the most logical? What's the most logical? But it's really not. It's really not the most logical because people are different. And maybe you don't want to wear the torn shirt, but maybe I don't care if I wear the torn shirt. So we're causing an entire generation, and not just my kids' generation. I mean, my generation is the same way, and probably the generation before, and even the generation before. But it's been going on for a long, long time. This way of teaching children that this is the way they need to think. And so it's causing everyone to have the same type of mindset, to not think deeply about things, to not think, maybe there's more to this. Maybe I need to look into this further. Maybe I'm not seeing all the possibilities here. Maybe I don't know all the facts. We're not teaching children to think that way. We're not teaching them to be critical thinkers. And it's caused us a lot of problems. And honestly, it's just as I was driving earlier, we drove past this kid's child care center, and I mean, it's like massive, and it almost looks like a theme park, you know. It's meant to like draw people in, you know, this child care center, and it's got after school programs and all this. And I'm thinking, this is nothing but warehousing children. And I understand that some people in their situations, they have no choice but to put their kids in childcare. You know, they have to work full-time jobs. They have to pay their bills, you know, and I don't fault anyone for that. That's something, you know, you have to do what you have to do. But the fact is we don't know what we don't know. And especially when we are brought up, raised, not just in homes, not just in families, but in an entire culture and system that is designed, it is designed for us to think that way, to have this mentality of warehousing children. And honestly, we can get in that too. I can get into that in another post, but it is designed for that. And so you don't know what you don't know. You're just used to it being that way. And our culture, it's culturally acceptable. And so we do it. But what it's doing is it's forcing children to all fit into this little box and all have similar ways of thinking. And so we don't have a whole lot of children who are growing up with the ability to think critically and to be creative in their thoughts and be imaginative and think outside that box. We don't. So I think we really need to think long and hard about our educational system, about what kind of things we are conditioning our children, what ways we are conditioning our children to think. So I just thought this was a great example that I wanted to use and talk to you about, because it really is just flabbergasting to me that this is the kind of stuff that is taught. That if you don't get this answer, you're wrong. And really it's the children who answer them incorrectly who are really the ones who are thinking outside the box and thinking the right way. So don't be discouraged if you have children that are like mine. In fact, most young children are that way. Divergent thinking comes very easily to them. It's natural, and we actually condition it out of them by schooling them. So if you're finding that your children, maybe they're in public school, or maybe they're not, you know, and you've done worksheets like this with them or exercises like this with them, and you're noticing that their answers are not typical, don't tell them that they're wrong, because they're not. They're just thinking about it critically. They have a different way of looking at it, and that's good. It's good. It's not bad. So anyhow, wanted to share that. Hope it kind of sparked some interest in you, made you think a little bit, shed some light on this whole idea of divergent thinking and children having the ability to look at things from all different kind of angles, and will kind of hopefully give you some incentive to really look into what ways your children are being conditioned to think, whether you're doing it unknowingly, or whether it's something that's happening to them at school if they go to public school. So anyhow, that's all for right now. I gotta go get my kids from gymnastics now, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.